Welcome to a brand new episode of TVGP's Critical Misses. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me, as always, is Moonpair.
Hi.
We're here for our second episode of our Critical Misses catch-up, revisit, additional episodes season here. And we're here with Alien Romulus, 2024's Alien Romulus.
Yes, we're a CMC machine, a critical misses catch-up machine,
That's
where
right.
we punch our way through the steel plates of Hollywood.
That's right. We're not a music
One
factory,
movie at a
though,
time.
most importantly.
No.
No, that's a different podcast. Um, I I'm I think maybe out of all three of these movies, I am the first and third ones I'm expecting to be known quantities. We've already done the first one. Go listen to
Okay.
5 Star Runtime for the last episode. It's really good. Um, Third one, most likely a known quantity. If it pulls some surprises, I'll pleasantly surprised. We'll get there next episode. This
Okay.
one, we watched 6 movies in our Alien quadrilogy, and
Yep.
they
We still
were.
have 2 more to do on top of this one.
Wait, what's after this
3
one?
more to do if you include this one. Oh, you forgot about the crossover of the century and the early 2000s, the Alien versus
Oh,
Predator movie.
well, that's like a
There's a
whole.
reason. There's a reason I want to do the Predator series, dude.
That's
It's
right.
so we can get to AVP.
Yeah, we have like a whole separate season for that. Quite fun question mark. Um, but I liked the Alien movies, the majority of the Alien movies, much
Mhm.
more than I was expecting, and I'm interested that to.
You're a Prometheus truther as well, correct? Where you're like,
I like
Prometheus is not a bad movie.
it might be a bad movie, but I like it. I think it's okay.
Okay.
It's not unwatchable, like an unwatchable mess. There's some stuff in there where I'm like, maybe we should have taken a second crack at some of that. But
Yeah, like the eyeball in the mirror scene, which we all love to remember.
uh huh. Yeah, yeah. Was that the one with the like T posing baby alien?
I believe so. It
Okay.
was.
Yeah,
I
should
think
have
so. Yeah,
take a second stab at that one.
that might have
That
been
was
Covenant though, but who knows?
one of those, whichever one it was. That could be a deleted scene. That's fine. Um, Anywho, got a brand new to us Alien movie, and I
And for anybody who watches the video version, you might see my own personal little face hugger sticking her face up from underneath the bottom of the screen.
that's right. Her name is Louise,
If
the
I
cat.
seem if I seem distracted, that is why. Is because I
Yeah,
have a cat who wants treats, who has not gotten treats,
yeah.
currently assaulting me.
Um, I'm very. I think the big thing that I have heard from this movie, from people that have watched it, I was originally going to say from fans, but I can't say that for sure, is that the feedback is divisive, to say the least.
Mhm.
There are plenty of people that are like, "Man, Aliens back. I love it. We got the big old Xenos. They're back. I love them." And other people, there doesn't seem to be a lot of people in the middle of like, "It was fine." A lot of other people are like, "Ugh, I don't. This wasn't it. Maybe you could have just not done this." So I am very curious just to see what this is.
Okay. Well, I will say I did see this one in the movies,
Okay.
in the theaters,
Mm-hmm.
one might say. And I immediately had conversations with friends of the show Mackie about this, and
Sure.
then when he watched it on Max, I immediately had conversations about with friends of the show Rob in regards to this
Okay.
for 2 different reasons.
Mm.
Because Mackie, like myself, is a huge Aliens
Mm-hmm.
fan. And Rob likes the Alien movies, but is a huge horror movie fan.
Ah, okay. So two kind of uh different but related approaches to the franchise.
Correct.
Right.
Now, do you know who directs this movie?
I have no idea. I'm gonna guess since you asked that it's probably not the usual suspects.
Nope, it's none of the usual suspects. It's none of that kind of thing. This is Fede Alvarez,
Oh,
who
why does that sound familiar?
He did the remake of Evil Dead.
Oh, people really liked that.
Yes, they did.
Okay.
Um,
All right.
he did Don't Breathe. He's done
Interesting.
a bunch of horror things, essentially.
Okay.
And they give him the Xenomorph franchise.
Interesting. Interesting.
So I
Huh.
will say I have seen the remake of Evil Dead,
Okay. Have you seen the
which
original?
is our no,
Well,
I don't think I've ever seen
okay.
the original. I've seen the
Jesus
remake
Christ.
though.
Okay, that's one where I have to say, hey, we need to do a season on that.
Yeah, I know. It's right there with Indiana Jones as the oh boy, this
Yeah.
is a huge thing that I haven't done.
Yeah, 100%.
Um, there are some scenes in the Evil Dead remake that make me very, very, very uncomfortable.
Oh, that's a plus for Evil Dead.
Designed to
Mhm.
make you feel uncomfortable, but they make me feel very, very uncomfortable.
Mhm.
So I guess that it's making itself,
Yeah, true to the franchise.
yeah, true to the franchise, true to the aim
Mhm.
of the actual thing itself. And he gets a Xenomorph movie.
Yeah, like I feel like if you pull off an Evil Dead thing and people are pretty happy about it and you're not the original dude, who I think is Sam Raimi,
Hmm.
if I remember correctly. Um
Yes, he did the Sam Raimi did the original Evil Dead trilogy.
yeah.
Yes.
And if you're not Sam Raimi, people are like, "Wow, that was pretty good." Yeah, give him a xenomorph, man. Give him a big dude in a rubber suit. Let's do it.
Hmm.
I mean, it's probably CG. It's probably not a big dude in a rubber suit, but I hope my hope is more practical effects.
You will be pleased. Fede is
Oh,
a fan of the practical effects.
yes, let's go. MVP.
I literally, I have the IMDb page open for this, and in that stupid banner window that they have, it's
Mm-hmm.
got them showing a behind the scenes thing of him with a remote control face hugger, if that gives you an idea.
Perfect. I love it.
So, and
That's
it
great.
moves creepily too. Like
Yeah, that's the good stuff.
it's terrible. So, what do you know about the movie?
See, that's the thing. This is another one of those movies that I don't really know that much about, like where it takes place on the timeline, who it stars, who because the thing that I was hearing from it, we're recording this in early 2025, so we're sort of on the back end here of 2024's kind of big impressions coming off of this movie, which is either I loved it, Alien is still here, we're still doing it, or you shouldn't have done this, it's an affront to God, etc., etc.
Hmm.
And I've also, because I liked so many of the Alien movies, I was trying to stay as,
Relatively away from it.
yeah, as much as I could because I knew we'd get to it at some point on this show. So,
Okay,
yeah.
we did one last episode. We covered a franchise with a convoluted timeline. We're doing another one this episode.
Oh boy. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yep. 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 Yep.
Slot it in, Boston. Slot it in. Take that Alien movie and put it in the timeline.
Oh. If
So, for the record,
yeah,
Prometheus, Covenant, Alien, Aliens, Alien Cubed, Alien 4.
Alien cubed, and then
Resurrection is the fourth one.
Alien ampersand Alien. Um, where does this go?
To
I
Alien 2 Xenomorph.
I we're hungry. Um, I
Oh, dude.
I feel like if you're coming, let's say coming back to the Alien franchise, because the previous two movies weren't super long ago, but I think long enough ago that you could probably make a bit of a clean break. I don't think it's a sequel to like 3 or 4. I think
When do you think Covenant came out, Boston?
Moon, you know better than ask me these questions.
No, you said it wasn't that long ago. When do you think Covenant came out?
Well, it might have come out like 10 years ago in like 2021.
So you think like 2021?
Uh-huh.
2017, bro. It's literally almost been 10 years since Covenant came out.
It's been
That's a long time,
it's
bro.
been a long 3 years, man. Um, I don't think they approach three or four. I think those are the movies you kind of stay away from, where even people that really like Alien are like, they're good, but you have a lot of asterisks and you have a lot of quantifiers around them.
Hmm.
I don't think that they squeeze in more prequel stuff, because I think at the end of the second one, I think patience was running thin of like, yeah, yeah, I get it. I get it. I get what you're going for. My thing, I'm thinking it's between Alien and Aliens. That seems to be the
Okay.
like healthiest spot.
I was gonna ask if you wanted me to spoil it, but since you got it right off the bat, I'm just gonna confirm that you are correct.
Okay, is Helen
This
Mirren
takes
in this
place
one too?
after one, before two. No Helen Mirren
All
that
right.
I'm aware of, but she might be a
Yeah,
seven
she's
foot
in.
tall dude in a suit.
Yeah, she's in the suit. She's really good. She's
Is there a
very
Queen
versatile.
alien in this movie? Because she literally plays Queenie in the other franchise.
That's right. Um. Okay. Well, that's. I mean, that's kind of exciting, as those being like the two best ones. I don't think that's. I don't think that's a hot take to say, hey, Alien and Aliens are really great movies, and maybe two of the best of the franchise.
Maybe two of the best of all time.
Sure.
One might argue.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry if I'm making a top 10. One of those is definitely in my 10.
Yeah.
Maybe both, but
Maybe.
one of them definitely.
And it's the first one.
Yes, it's the second one. You are
Yep.
incorrect. The second one is the best of
But
the
like,
two.
that's the great thing about Alien is like, are you an Alien 1 guy or an Alien 2 guy? Like, which.
It's it's literally it's the thing that everybody uses as a language as a shortcut for what type of blank are you? What type
Mhm.
of dead person are you? Are you an alien or an aliens person?
Right.
That mean, are you a Dead Space 1 or a Dead Space 2? Because it made
Right.
the exact same transition.
True.
Is
True.
it's fantastic. So you don't know the plot, you know roughly when it's set.
Yeah.
You don't, I'm assuming you don't know any of the performers,
No, I have no idea.
mostly mostly because I've never heard of a single one of these people in my life beforehand.
Actually, I think
Which
that is one thing that I had heard going into this was everyone's like, all right, let's see who's in the new Alien movie. I don't know any of them. And
Yep.
I think that's fun because I
I think
think,
it's the best way to do it.
yeah.
Because if you've got a bunch of no names in there, you
Mhm.
don't know who will survive. Period.
True.
You don't know.
True.
Like that. I mean, that's what made Scream such a game changer was when the girl who was in the movies was famous.
Hmm.
Can't remember her name, but she dies in the first 4 seconds of the
Right.
movie. It's like, no, this is your big ticket name, and you
It's
killed her in the opening
it's
sequence.
Smoking Aces. Have you ever seen that movie?
No, I have not.
I
I
think
have heard it is
I think
fantastic.
it's got Ben Affleck in it. Spoiler: he dies in like the first 10 minutes, and that was like at the
Oh,
height of his popularity.
that's great.
So
Sticking in the
good.
Ben Affleck season, I guess.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I think that's kind of exciting from kind
Hmm.
of like at least unknown to us actors. Um,
Yes.
okay. Okay.
Okay. Okay. So hands in the air here.
Uh-huh.
They do an incredible job in this movie, in my opinion, of that vibe
Okay. The Alien
of the
one,
alien,
like 1 and 2 vibe.
alien. Yes, the
Okay.
vibe of both of them. You never played Isolation, right?
Sadly, no.
Did you know that is canonically part of the Alien timeline?
I did.
Okay. Because you'll see, you won't notice it, but the save stations from Alien Isolation are in this movie.
Oh, that's fun. I like that.
As a little wink and a nod
Hmm.
to the Alien
With
Isolation of it.
without like being a Marvel thing of like, ugh, you don't know who this, but do you have to do your homework and play it? It's like, no, stop it.
I literally never saw them because I played like maybe 4 hours of Isolation, then got scared and stopped playing it.
Hmm.
I only saw it because Cinema Wins did they're
Ah,
literally their most recent video was this movie,
okay,
and it's like
okay.
frame pause. There's the save thing. Keep going.
That's fun. Okay,
Do you
interesting.
know the tagline for this movie?
Ooh, no, I don't. We do love a tagline.
We do love a tagline. In space, nobody can hear you.
Okay, that's hmm. That I that gives me I think one of my big criticisms of our previous movie, Fast 10, not Fast X, um, was that it's sort of playing the hits throughout the entirety of the movie. That is maybe a bit of a concerning thing of like, you're not coming back after almost 10 years and just kind of like, not playing the hits, are you? You
I mean, the poster is a face hugger.
mm,
Who knows if we're playing the hits at this point?
right.
Um, did you see any of the trailers for this?
Nope.
Okay. Trailer one for this, the main trailer, not the teaser trailer, but the first trailer for it, was one of my favorite like moments in trailers because don't watch it now because it'll spoil it.
Hmm.
But they did a thing where someone was about to start screaming, and it cut out the audio of them screaming and did an outside of the spaceship shot,
Oh, interesting.
which was a really nice little wink and a nod to
Yeah, the
I see
original.
what you did
That's
there.
the tagline for the first one, right?
Yes,
Okay.
in space, no one can hear you scream.
Right. Right. Interesting. Okay. Okay. Hmm. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I even have questions about because I feel like this is one of the more unknown ones for me of just don't know the cast, don't know the director. Now I have a kind of a better idea of the director after we talk about him a little
Oh,
bit. But like, I am a little bit I'm excited going into this. I'm a little bit more excited now that you're saying that they kind of nail the
the
vibe.
aesthetic is chef's
Yeah.
kiss.
And to me, like, I think that's why I like so much of the kind of first three Alien movies is that, especially the first one of this kind of like, it's a little different from like retrofuturism, but this kind of like worn in like space trucker sort of like this is where we work and it's not.
Industrial futurism.
Yeah,
I don't
like
even know if that's a thing, but
the kind of like the Nostromo is so to me like so iconic in that movie for just being like we live and work here and this thing is like patched together with gum and twine. Like
Mhm.
it's just an 18 wheeler in space. Like it just needs to do its job. It's not this beautiful rounded white clean environment. Like no man, this is where we live and
You
die.
mean it's not the iconic titular ship, the Prometheus?
Right, exactly. Yes. Yeah. Um
So before we go watch the movie, which
sure.
I'm pretty sure we're about to go do,
Yep.
we're gonna have to do another Alien season later this year, right?
Is there another one coming out this year?
The TV show comes out this year.
Oh, the TV show. That's right. I am incredibly curious
I'm
how
so
you do that.
nervous, dude.
Hmm.
I'm so nervous. Do you know when that is set? Out of curiosity,
Oh, that's an extreme prequel, right?
that is set after Covenant, before Alien.
Oh boy. Okay. That's
I'm
okay.
super nervous
Uh
about
huh.
that show. I'm not gonna lie. I'm extremely nervous about
I've a,
that.
I've a little bit more faith after watching some of that Dune TV show, which I actually really liked. I thought they kind of nailed that. So there's prestige TV is in kind of a good spot here in 2024, 2025. So like it's
Bro, and our boy Timmy O is in it too. So
we are Timmy Olyphants. So
yes,
all right. Put Mark Strong in there, and I'm sold. Yeah.
let me just
Okay.
scan
Well,
the cast list here and check if he's in it.
he's in the Dune show, so I'm happy.
Oh, okay,
I'll take it.
then well, yeah.
Okay. Any parting thoughts here before we get lost in space?
Nope,
All right.
nothing else.
Let's go watch the film.
Yup.
We have returned. We're back from the space station.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes,
Also,
we are.
can I say
Wait.
that the two halves of the space station called Romulus and Remus is really good? I'm
Yeah, it's kind of really great.
I like
The
that.
naming conventions and that is
Yep,
is really good.
real good, real good. Um, I I want to start this out by saying I really the the first 30 minutes of this movie where we get to see a ton of the life on the
Oh, you mean the
Weyland-Yutani
law
planet.
building? You like law building,
Not
Boston?
even
I never would have guessed this
not
about
even
you.
that, but seeing something that isn't a space station. Like, look,
Mhm.
every single space station in all these movies is incredible looking. But
Yes.
seeing the abject misery of this planet, both when
Uh-huh.
you're on the ground and it's just raining forever, but then when they're lifting off of the planet and it's like
It's just full of volcanoes.
like cloud cover, the volcanoes, the rings, and having that kind of flip between them finally seeing the sun. I was like, oh, you weren't lying about literally never seeing the sun on this nightmare mining planet.
Uh-huh. Who
Yeah,
would have thought? Capitalism is great.
we love
Wink.
it. We love it. And
I'm sorry, you're not eligible for leaving because now we need you to do the exact same thing you've done again.
yeah, we've extended your. I really love the
Your con extended your contract, I believe it's called.
Yeah, there's the 1-2 punch of the amount you have to do is higher, and then in the most monotone practiced way, the lady behind the thing is like, the company really appreciates your service and looks forward to more blah blah blah. Just
Yup.
couldn't
Uh-huh.
it's so capitalism, and it's great
Yes.
in its horror. um i I like so much of that, and I think that that sort of stuff goes a long way to, I think, setting this movie up in kind of an opposite way for the first, was it 30-40 minutes of the first Alien movie, where it's like nothing's happening. It's all, we're just space trucking. It's first couple of minutes of that movie are silent. First couple minutes of this movie are pretty quiet too. Um,
Uh-huh.
but I feel like it's that extended dread that the first movie did really well, of just
Yes.
this is leading towards a xenomorph, and I don't know how, but I guess we'll find
And
out
you didn't
soon.
realize it was the xenomorph it was
Yes.
leading towards.
Yeah. Yeah, it sure was. Um,
Uh-huh. The
I
fact that it opens with the ruin of the Nostromo.
Yeah, with the theme playing,
Uh-huh.
mm,
Doo, 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 doo.
really good. And a lot of the intro I think is really solid. You're recovering the cocoon question
Uh-huh.
mark. Um
Uh-huh.
and while the theme is playing, we'll have a lot of thoughts about how all this plays out as we continue to go on. But I think setting the stage with the 70s vision of, what is it, 2400 is the
Yeah.
year.
No, it's 21 something, I
Okay,
believe.
so
I think 2150 is aliens
okay,
potentially.
so
Don't
it's,
quote me on that, people.
yeah, it's uh the spacefaring future. But I like that they have the kind of setup there of this. It's between these two movies, so this technology is still going on. It's these super cool CRT monitors. It's all this real
Uh-huh.
crunchy tech, and it's still here. And I think
This
that
one
helps a
is
lot.
2142.
2142.
Aliens is 2179.
Okay.
An
Okay.
alien is 2122.
Okay. So almost exactly smack in the middle.
Uh-huh.
Interesting. Okay. Um, I like a lot of those, and I like that they don't stay on the planet very long. They make the plan,
No.
and they're like, we're getting in this thing and we're getting off this planet. Why would we wait to do any of this?
Yup. And they kind of also have a countdown. They like the movie opens with a yo, we've got like 72 hours until this thing crashes into the rings and is destroyed.
Yeah. So if we're gonna take advantage of it, let's go up there and do it.
Hmm.
I do have to give some props to the introduction of Rain and
Andy.
Andy. I should remember that because his serial number just spells out Andy, like his model number. Um,
Hmm.
I can't have a better introduction to two incredibly likable characters and super strong actors than the two of
Yep.
them. Like everybody in
You
this
remember
movie
the
is,
two people who I said kind of stole the show?
yeah,
It's these two.
yeah,
I think with respect, I think David Johnson, who plays Andy, I think he 100% steals the show because he gets
yeah,
to flip the switch like 5 times in this movie.
yeah. He's super strong in a way that feels kind of the most believable. I think everybody in this movie is really good.
Hmm.
I think Rain's actor playing that kind
Haley
of,
Spiney.
yes. I think she plays the kind of like only competent person on the crew role pretty well, of just like,
Yep. I mean, she's the Ripley of this movie. We might as
exactly,
well
yeah,
say that off the bat. She's
yeah.
the Ripley of this. Later in the movie, she even actually throughout the movie, she even wears I think it's the Reebok pumps that Ripley is wearing in
I didn't
Aliens.
even
She's
notice
wearing
that.
the exact same shoes.
That's great.
So yeah.
Yeah. But I like it that you get introduced to the whole crew. There isn't a whole ton of them, and it's kind of like all of the people in this movie. And then
Hmm.
you get on the space station and
Yep.
start
You
figuring
also
it out.
get you also immediately figure out who the a-holes of the group are. I believe
Uh-huh.
it's Bjorn is the biggest a-hole of the group.
The
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 artificial life denier.
yeah, I've done my research.
Uh-huh.
And like it's interesting because he does have a reason, but he just goes about it in the worst possible way, especially
He goes
when,
about it in a way that of someone who has suffered a lot of trauma in
yeah,
regards to this kind of thing.
and like can't help but pick on a robot that can't fight back.
Yep. Can't help but throw those little jabs in,
That's
little
right.
pokes,
Yeah.
every single chance he possibly gets.
Well, guess who's
There is
staying
not a
here?
moment where he shuts his mouth.
Yeah. Yeah. Um I I think it's a really cool introduction to this ship with them
Uh-huh.
docking and wandering around, and you get the like,
Dude, the fact that this movie immediately starts with claustrophobia,
yeah.
like when they're docking with the ship, and they're not docking in the docking bay. No, they're docking with like an access hatch,
Mm-hmm.
and then they have to crawl through that ventilation system,
Oh,
which has the ring entrance from
yep.
the first movie, which
I
I love
love
that.
I love those doors.
Like the spiky circle
Yep.
thing. It's like, yep, 100%. This is fantastic. But then credit to Fede, like the claustrophobia, that tight,
Mm-hmm.
compact thing.
With the rat sort of floating there, showing you the,
And it's like, oh, not only are we in like really tight spaces, it's also we don't have gravity, by the way.
right. And also this thing is going to crash very soon, so
Uh-huh.
we need to get going pretty quickly. Um, I I've had a very long week, so apologies for anyone listening if I'm missing any specifics here in the movie. Um, but I kind of like the exploration of the ship from this part for a while, of just like,
Yeah.
we as
I
the
mean, we should also say this, like their plan is to go and steal a bunch of cryo tubes
yep,
and then use those cryo tubes to basically set themselves on a launch to a different system, a non-Weyland-Yutani system,
right,
and then start life anew, essentially.
right,
Start a brand new life in this system. Um, but they get the cryo tubes relatively easily, but they
yeah.
also need fuel
Also,
for the cryo
I
tubes.
really love how the cryotubes You get an outside of the ship shot when they're going back down. I love seeing them go back down on the floor and then that panel covering over top of them, and they almost
Uh-huh.
hide in a way that they
Yes.
didn't in the beginning of Alien, the first Alien movie, where they were kind of like in cryosleep in the middle of the ship. And
Uh-huh.
I thought that was kind of neat of this almost like a protection against whatever's going to happen to the ship. At least
Yeah.
they're almost kind of like cocooned in this little area. I thought that was great.
Yeah, and it's also one of those things of like budgetary reasons for different purposes. Like it
Yep.
would make sense in a space like the Romulus Remus ship for them to be secured away somewhere safe,
Mm-hmm.
especially if I don't know if we're going to talk about Alien 4, if they need humans in them to be hidden for some nefarious
Right.
purpose later on, it
Right.
makes perfect sense for them to not be visible, kind of
Yeah.
thing. But yeah, I love Navarro as well. She's unfortunately not in this a whole bunch. She's the
Yeah.
pilot with the shaved head.
Yep. Super
Like
cool.
super cool character. Like really loves being a pilot. I love the here comes the crush moment when she jams the accelerator up when they're leaving the gravity.
Yep.
Fantastic. But yeah, they like her getting the cryopods is cool. Like she's got nerves of steel.
Yep.
But yeah, it doesn't have enough fuel for everybody.
Yeah. Which I thought was kind of a neat thing of like there has to be some this isn't a 30-minute movie. They get in there like, all right, bye, we're off to Vago 3. Woo. Um but I like that kind of expedition out to get more fuel as an excuse to not only show more of the ship, but also to show we as the viewer know that all of this stuff they're seeing, it's not a chemical spill. Like
No,
we
it's
know what
bad.
happened. We know what happened over
Uh-huh.
here. We know, they you can't get into this one science room because maybe it is the important room, and I'm like, that's bad. There's stuff in there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you so because I'm a pessimist,
Okay. Okay.
I immediately clocked who was on the floor in the science room.
I thought that was I thought that was interesting because
Because you don't get the reveal until much later, but
right.
as soon as I saw the body, I was like it- I questioned myself in the theaters. I was like, okay, that's Bishop or Ash.
Mhm.
It's one of the two.
Right.
And I think both of those actors are dead. So
Right.
it's one of the two.
Right. And they take some lengths to not show that face for a really long time, um,
Uh-huh.
which I think is interesting. Um, I really I really like the design of the chip that they is like behind the ear.
You
Um,
like that because you like mini disc players
I
and
really do. I
UMTs.
really do.
That's why you like that. That's also why I like this design too, because
But
it's
it,
like,
it
yeah,
almost
we come from the era of CDs,
I
so we
know.
100% know
But
we know that thing.
there's something like when we were growing up, the first CDs we had were in the little plastic trays, and you'd slide the
Uh-huh.
tray into the CD reader on a computer, and like the whole thing went in. To me,
Uh-huh.
that's what this looked like because there's almost like a clockwork element to the thing in the
Yes.
middle, and I really like that. I like it kind of fitting into and around um, his original. Hello, Louise. Um, like his original, like Andy's original, like security thing. I
Yes.
like that. Um,
I love the fact that like all AIs are the disc.
yeah,
Like that's literally they're just the disc.
yeah,
And yeah, they get to the fuel room, which is full of questionable things, one
mm-hmm.
might say. Sorry, now I have like so many kittens in this room because I had my window open earlier, so
Uh,
there was lots of cats wanting to sniff the fresh air. Um, but like I love it when they go in and it's just like we know what's in those little cases. We see the shots, we see the thing in the cases, and again, I think this movie is beautifully shot. There are
It
some
really
camera
is.
angles that like get me every time.
Yeah.
I think I love the red lighting that he uses
Yes.
liberally throughout. This is not a color that Alien has used a lot, is
It,
red.
and it's not
Um,
just the poster either. Like that's
no, so much of the movie is
yeah.
in red light, and I think it's really cool. I I don't think facehuggers have ever been as creepy as they are in this movie.
Oh my god, dude, they're the worst. And it's not only the big room with dozens of facehuggers like vacuum sealed into these things with
Yes,
the red
where they have
lights,
to go get the fuel
but
like
it's
that,
just like
and it's got like 4 inches of water in it too, just to really mess with your head. It's got like 4 inches of
yep,
water at
if
the
it wasn't
bottom, and
bad
it's just like,
enough. Like there's
uh-huh,
just something about I think the thing that creeps me out so much about the scene is it's not just one. And it isn't
no,
just like two of them, it's like dozens of them, which is way worse than before. And just like knowing that there are that many in this area and then watching them like
hmm
all skittering together, oh god, it's the grossest. I love it so much.
yeah, and like swimming through the water, jumping out of unexpected places.
Yep.
Uh, I think it's Bjorn. It might be Tyler, but I think it's Bjorn who gets. Actually, I think it's Tyler who gets the face hugger that's almost on him, and you get that
Oh my god, it's so gross.
scene.
It's so gross where it's like finding his mouth and I'm just watching it like,
Mhm.
ugh, okay. Ugh, ugh, no, oh, nope, keep it down.
There's a lot of that in this movie. It feels like there's a lot of like this guy is a horror director, and he's gonna lean all the way into the actual visceral horror of it. Like you didn't see a lot of this stuff in the previous Alien
Right.
movies.
Well, and
You see it in great detail in this one.
I feel like this movie, beyond the kind of the one obvious character, I think it leans into the kind of like sexual violation nature of so much of the alien stuff in not only that scene, but there's a bunch of other scenes where it's sort of like, okay, you're like a vampire book or film. You're really leaning into the theme
Into the
here.
allegory.
Yeah.
It's the movie about the sisters with the werewolves that we talked about. Um,
Oh, ginger
oh,
snaps.
oh. Thank you.
Yes,
It's the
very
ginger
much so.
snaps of the Alien movie, where it's
Yep.
like, here is the allegory. I'm just gonna hold up a sign for you.
Yep. And we're just gonna keep showing it to you. I think that stuff works.
That seems gross.
That seems gross, and like there, it's like a 1-2 punch too, because I think showing him like forcefully like yanking this thing off of his face, I think shows how strong they are, and then
Yes,
seeing them hit. Who's the shaved head lady?
Navarro. I do before we get to that, because I want to call that
Yeah,
out
there's
because
some
that's a great
stuff in
moment.
between.
But like Andy in this sequence is fantastic, where he doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know
Right,
anything,
he's
kind
just
of
been
thing. Like,
rebooting when he got his new like AI
oh, it's not
instructions.
even that. I think he's inside as Andy, and he's trying to help, and then
Mm,
like he gets hit or something, and that's when Rain has to go and get the ID card from the other guy, because it's like
right.
this. It's this huge slow countdown of like Andy not being able to open the thing,
Yep.
the coolant being taken off the thing out of the walls, and then all of the facehuggers slowly de-thawing themselves and
Mm-hmm.
going ploop into that water on the bottom. It's just
Ah,
there's
such a
something in the
shot.
water, mate. It's so English. It's
It's really
unreal.
good. Yep.
And like, and then I love when he reboots, his eyes roll backwards, and he's got the Wayland, the Way You
That's
logo
such a
on the
great
back of
shot
his
too.
eyeballs.
Yep.
It's just like, I hate this, but it's so real.
Yep. And it's so good because everything else in that shot is moving except for Andy. And it's very clear. He's just like, "Hey man,
And he
Andy,
even
like
gets like a facehugger crawling over him at one point. Like he jumps
oh,
off his back, I
it's so
think, to
gross.
try and get to somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, that stuff is really good. And then
Oh yeah. Then they escape. You get the facehugger chase as they open the door with all of the fingers through the door gap. Is
oh god,
just
it's so gross. I love it. It's just
Uh-huh.
there's just so many of them, and they're so spider wiggly. Like,
Yes.
man,
And
yeah.
then, like you said, like the impact, when the one gets free and hits Navarro and smashes straight into her face,
She
it's like
gets
it knocks her
knocked
off her
back.
feet.
Yeah, and she
Like it's
slides. Like,
unreal.
it's. I think for me that's one of the most interesting like alien shots in this movie because when you look at like Alien One, the facehugger is kind of like creeping around, and it's taking it.
It's a jump scare in
Yeah,
Alien 1. It comes straight out the egg, straight to the face, and then it's dead. In
right,
Alien 2, you get them skittering around underneath the bed
right.
because you try and get because the company guy tries to put one on Newt and Ripley.
Yeah,
Um, but like, I don't feel like they've. I think they're creepy and scary in the other movies. I genuinely do. I think the creation of them is a masterpiece.
yep,
I think this is where the facehuggers show why they're really as bad as they are, kind
right.
of thing.
Just that impact and like her sliding across the floor out loud. I was just like, oh god, like
Uh-huh.
this is terrifying. And then
And yeah, you get that wonderful thing of like, take it off. And I was like, nope, I'm going to start choking the old
yep,
wrap
wrapping
around
it
the tail,
around.
around the throat thing.
Well, and
It's
I
like,
like too that there's a level of calm between both Rain and Andy. Rain just saying like, "This is do it's not killing her because it's breathing, and she is too. So I don't think we need to do anything right now, but this clearly isn't right." And then Andy sort of saying, now that he's done the
yeah,
flip to the science
yeah,
officer,
because now he's in Wii U mode, we'll
yeah,
say.
it's sort of like interesting, fascinating. That sort of like switched not only his voice,
His
but
delivery, his
yep,
performance,
his
his acting,
delivery.
everything is different.
It's
It's
really
so
good
good.
because there's such a great introduction to Andy at the beginning with the dad jokes, and he
Yes.
is stumbling over his lines a little bit. He's almost stuttering. Like it's such a different delivery between the two of them that it really nails down. The movie doesn't have to tell you like now I'm rebooting into science officer mode, but you see it immediately because he's so much different.
Yes. And like I love the fact that like he is open and honest about everything. Like he's open and honest
Mm-hmm.
about the chances, the survival rate, all he's an android.
Yeah.
He is as open about this stuff as he can be. And I like the fact that together they're like, let's just freeze the tail. How about if we use some of this stuff that freezes everything?
Yep.
We should be able to get it off a face. Like,
Mm-hmm.
let's do that. And they do.
Mm-hmm.
And then she goes back to the ship with Kay, who is the one person in this movie I think is underused.
Yeah.
Let's have a pregnant lady in here just because you need to amp up the stakes that much, apparently.
Well, and you need to like continue to the theme of this being like a violation. Like the
Yes,
xenomorphs violate the human body.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the coolest piece of tech that has ever existed in the Alien
Oh my
universe
god,
is used
this
for the worst
the
effect.
X-ray thing when you
This
see
is
it,
in the trailer. They made a
that's
mistake
a
putting this
bummer.
in the trailer.
I mean, it's one of the coolest shots in this movie because when you see it originally in the scene in the
She like
movie,
waves it over her arm,
yeah,
and
I'm
it's
like,
like, oh,
dang,
look
that's
at my
cool. This is
bones.
gonna be a nightmare in like 20 minutes. Um,
Uh-huh.
and man, it's way worse than I would imagine when she puts that through her back and her ribs crack. I was like,
Uh-huh.
oh,
And you could
like,
see the shadow of the Xeno like pushing its way
it's
out.
so good, and it's the worst thing I've ever seen with my eyeballs. Uh, uh,
Uh-huh.
oh man, that's so good. And the like, there's like a great one-two punch here too, as obviously she's going to die, but
Uh-huh.
she has like foam coming out of her mouth. She's asking, to like have her
Don't
like
let me die.
yeah, like don't let me
She's saying
die.
to Kay, don't let me die.
And then the blood splatter on Kay's face and that pause before she lets out like one of the best screams on film I've seen. as something.
That's the scream that's cut in the trailer, by the way. She opens her
That's
mouth and
really
it
good.
silences her.
And then like you get the outside shot of the ship as the craft like runs into the bottom of the Romulus Remus ship.
Yeah, because I can't remember what happens, but someone not falls into the controls, and the
Yeah.
whole like ship just goes sideways and basically just does like a grind across the edge of the space station
Yep.
until it goes into what I'm assuming would be one of the docking bays.
Right.
Yeah, that's not great.
It's such a good like 1-2 punch of like this lady's dead. This other lady's
Uh-huh.
in big trouble. And also, you just ran into this space station that you're trying to use to get out of here.
Yep. Also, by the way, now you only have like 30 hours to get off the ship. Have
Yeah,
fun.
yeah, just like the countdown of
Andy's
like,
delivery of that is like, well, the impact of the fuel must have changed the trajectory in such a way that's going to affect it has shortened the impact time to the rings, and it's
mhm,
just like,
thanks,
I
buddy.
hate you and love you, Andy.
You're the worst. Um,
Uh-huh.
is this where we get the next scene with
So I
Navarro?
think, well, no, Navarro's dead at this point. I think you might be thinking of Kay.
No, I'm thinking about what comes out of Navarro.
No, that's at the same time. Oh yeah, it's basically this entire sequence is
Yeah.
where you get the baby Xeno coming out.
I I really want to know if this is practical because it really looks practical, and if it
I
isn't,
believe it is. I
okay.
believe it is. And I believe Fede actually went out of his way to hire the original like crew and special effects teams
Dang.
from the first movie
Hmm.
because he wanted the same kind of thing, except obviously, 50 years later or
That's right.
whatever it is.
It looks like the worst thing I have seen in a really long time, and so incredibly impressive from like a filmmaking standpoint because they're holding a lot of shots of this thing just flopping around after it got born with its little
Uh-huh.
metal teeth. Which is the metal
Yep.
teeth is always what gets me in these baby
That's always
xenomorphs.
been the thing that creeps me out about the. It's like on the big versions, it doesn't bother me at all. The metal
No,
teeth, it
because they're
makes
always like,
perfect sense. They're
hey,
black. They're black. They're scary. They're huge. It makes perfect sense. It blends with the coloration of the beast.
exactly.
Whereas on the baby versions, when you see the little metal teeth, it's
Yeah,
just
the
like,
little green
ugh.
one's like, hey, like it's little metal teeth. I'm like, that's, oh boy, this is just,
Uh-huh.
yeah, man, it's just really, really great. It's the
Yep.
worst, and I love
And
it.
I think this is where they go through the ship to try and get to they go through the station to try and get to the ship,
Hmm.
and when they get to the ship, problems have arisen because
There, there are things
there is
happening.
Kay
Yep.
standing there at the door, and Andy has to open the door, and nobody else sees it, but he does. And if you freeze frame it, you can actually see it. By the way, you can see the Xeno in the rafters to the side, waiting for them
Oh,
to open the
wild.
door.
Oof, that's frightening.
Uh
God, the
huh.
xenomorphs are
And
so
Andy's
good.
like, he's like, no, no, I ain't opening the door because that's what the thing wants us to
That's right.
do.
It wants to get in here, man.
If
Why
we
are we gonna do that?
if we open the door, we're all dead.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Kay gets the old tail through the chest routine,
Yep.
but doesn't die.
Right. Just
We'll see Kay again much later on in the movie, we'll say.
is this where she? Is this the scene where she runs and like falls through that door?
Yes, because she's running to try and get to the door for them to open it to save her, and she
Yep.
runs out of the door and
This
straight into the
this is
into the.
such a good shot of just like, all right, we're watching her, and then it just the camera flips to another angle as she just falls off of it and hits something on the way down. I'm like, oh god,
Uh-huh.
that was brutal.
Like if you've ever like walked along a wall or like in our older years walked down a set of stairs
Hmm.
and you just have that split second before your foot touches the stair of like vertigo
Yep.
as you think
This
you're
is how
about
I
to
die.
fall down the stairs.
Jesus, take the wheel.
It's that in cinematic form, except she
Yeah.
doesn't catch herself, she just falls.
Oh, it's that's a heck of a shot too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is where they go and meet up with the science officer and try and figure out how to
Yeah,
solve the problem.
they're basically like, all right, we got a science officer here. Why don't we hook him up? Let's figure out what's going on in the ship. Let's see if they can
Uh-huh.
give some intro here, and I don't know how to talk about this. I
I think this is atrocious. I think this is
I
this is
think
not necessary for the movie. You don't need this character. You don't need this moment.
I
This is
think it's
a
an insult.
nostalgia play.
I
Yes.
think the whole rest of the
And it's
movie at this point is a nostalgia play, but I think this especially is like such a gross
it's a
mis
misuse of someone.
and it's a misuse of like technology. Like, look, there's some pretty impressive in the home video version of this. Some pretty impressive like
Oh,
puppeteering
did you see the
work.
comparison?
It's not great in theaters, man. It's just
Nope, it's really not.
way
It's not
worse.
in the slightest.
No,
I
oof.
would. I'm not gonna lie. And it's not my place to be so, but I was offended. Like, I was
Yeah, and
genuinely offended when it came up. I was like, not only are you reanimating a dead human,
right.
like, and hopefully you got the permission from his
So
estate to
so they
do so.
did. And like before anyone comes and says like, "Well, Ian Holmes' family gave him permission." I don't care. This isn't
Yeah.
Ash coming back to life. This is a different character. This is just
Yes.
another science officer. You could have had
Anybody.
literally any British person play this
Uh-huh.
character and it would have been okay. You'd even get anybody that looks semi like Ian Holm, like movies have done
Uh-huh.
throughout history. So we did this whole like CGAI nightmare. I think this is like such a it if it wasn't so central to the plot for the entire rest of the movie, it would be a little bit less bad. But he's in it for the entire rest of the movie, sitting there
Uh-huh.
animating as this dead dude's face for somebody that was so important for not only the first movie but for like one of
The franchise and
Critical Misses best.
cinematic history as a whole.
Right, and like Critical Misses history of just like, hey, do you know there are
Oh, the
like,
best reveal ever.
there's like like androids in this movie? Like,
Uh-huh.
did you all know this? So like for them, if it was Ash coming back, that would still be bad, but a little bit more understandable. But for them to reanimate this dude as a different character is just unacceptable.
Yeah.
It's so
It,
gross.
it could have been anybody. It could
Put
have been just
Martin
any.
Freeman in there. He looks
Mhm.
close enough. just put him in the blue jumpsuit and call it a day. Like, oh god.
Yeah. I mean, there's literally a reason why Martin Freeman played a younger version of him in a different trilogy.
Uh-huh. Could it just he'd be like, hey man, you want to do
I
a
mean,
small Ian Holm again?
even then, just get somebody else.
Yeah.
Get anybody. Just get
And
even just get an old British dude
right.
to come
There's
in
plenty
and
of
be
them.
the science officer. There's lots of us, let me tell you.
And like the thing is they didn't even try to explain it away of like every science officer looks like this. Like the science officer model from Weyland Yutani of these androids looks like this. The Andy model, all of them look like this. You in some of the video games for Alien, you see the like worker androids that
Yes,
all look the same.
and I think they're actually called like Handy Andes or something like that.
Something
But
like
that's a
that, yeah.
different. It's a different company. It's a different model. But they all look the same. They all
Right.
have the same thing.
They
And they do this with like the Alien franchise with like Bishop, and then Bishop
Yes.
being apparently based off of Wayland.
right. Right. So like I don't want to talk about it anymore. It's gross.
I don't
it's
like
the
it.
worst.
Like I not only was it unnecessary, but also the cinematic version is god awful.
It's really bad of like we put it looks like we put a model here and then just put green paint where its face is supposed to be and poorly CG'd it. Like I just It's from a technical standpoint, the theatrical release is pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like it.
Yeah,
I
it's the
just
worst.
don't. Like it,
Yeah.
it could have been anybody.
Yep.
Look at the performance that David Johnson gives as a different synthetic human
Yep.
model. Just give us a different model.
Yep.
That's all you got to do.
Yep. Yeah. Yep.
Anyway, now we get the facehugger run. The running of the facehuggers,
Our favorite yearly tradition, the running of the face huggers.
Uh-huh.
They're
It's a good idea. It's a very good idea. Raise the ambient temperature of the room to the
Yep.
human body heat, and then, or the natural temperature of a human body,
Yep.
and then hopefully they shouldn't see
Yeah.
you.
Just go in there and shut up. Everything will be fine. And like again, Rain is the smartest. Everybody listen to Rain. That's what we said about Ripley. Ripley's the smartest. Just shut up and listen to her.
Mhm.
And the tension in the scene is so good, and like seeing the facehuggers sitting there like a scorpion, just like on a table with their tail kind of scorpion like up. So creepy. Like we get so many
Doing
shots.
the little rotations,
Yeah,
like the
like
tiny little rotations, as they're like, oh, is something moving? I don't know. Let me just check.
and like I if there's anything I love about this movie, I like being able to see the face, like we've been talking about, the facehuggers in so many different situations and so many different kind of like orientations, other than like it's on the ceiling, blink, now it's on my face.
Yeah.
Like we get to see it like existing in more ways, which is just blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
Yep. Also, I don't know. At some point, Bjorn has already died. At this point, I believe.
Oh no,
by
that's a shame.
sticking his giant electric shock thing
Oh.
into yeah
into
into the most visual, like, do you get the message yet?
do you
Representation.
get the allegory? Where literally it's
Yeah.
in your face.
Remember that sign I was talking about? It's plastered on the wall right here.
God, yeah, just when I was watching it, I was like, that looks, no, they just showed another angle of it. Okay, I get it. No,
Yep,
yeah, okay.
that's exactly what you think it is.
Yeah, you're just, yep, sure. That's
And then the fact that he gets the old tail out of the shell thing.
yeah.
Like the tail drops out and then kills him, and then he gets the acid blood face
The
moment.
acid, his fingers going, like, there's only one part of the scene I don't like, and it's the end. I love seeing him, like, wiping it off, like, like, he's just too freaked out, he can't, like, trying to figure out how to wipe it off, and seeing his fingers decaying down to the bone.
Yes.
I don't like the shot of him just exploding, though. Like,
Yes.
that feels like a weird kind of end. I kind of wish that it had, like, melted him or something. Obviously, it's the payoff of, like, seeing him later. But, like, I kind of wish that there was a different end for him there. Not only because he's garbage, but I think it looked a little bit goofy, where he's just like, blip.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yes, allegory on the wall,
That's
literally.
That's right.
In his
Plato wrote
in
about
his
that,
death
the xenomorph on the wall. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I love the fact that like Andy closes the door with just in time, and we get the old Indiana Jones slide through the gap
That
routine.
shot of him sliding under the door, it's like one of those doors where like the teeth...
It's because it's closing three ways. It's closing sideways and from the top.
And I love those like industrial feature doors where like the teeth are coming in from the separate sides and they kind of lock in, and he's sliding underneath the bottom as the facehuggers are like an inch or two behind him. Oh god.
Yes. He's like, I timed it perfectly. Aren't you happy?
No, it's like not really.
Last time I did not. Last time it cost Navarro a facehug.
That's right.
This time I timed it perfectly.
Yeah.
Great. What if he stumbled? Oops.
Yeah. Sorry, not my problem. Run better.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You know, I think this is let's go underground through the nest part, I believe.
Is this after we get the kind of lowdown of what the station was doing?
I think maybe. I don't know. The movie is a blur to me.
I think this is really, really interesting. And I think this might be some of my favorite stuff in the movie, of Rook explaining, so we had the xenomorphs, the perfect organism. and we had humans who are not suited to
Not
interstellar
suited to
travel.
space.
Yeah,
Hmm.
which is, I think, such a great way to describe the like,
Humanity. We're so weak and so
but
brittle, so breakable.
also like from the Weyland-Yutani standpoint of like, what if we could just make them more resilient to work in more terrible places, and they won't be so fragile. It's just they can stay in the mines for like way longer. Like there's multiple kind of layers of terribleness
Yes.
here.
So, out of curiosity, what is your favorite sci-fi trope of other people, or humans or other races genetically modified for interstellar stuff?
Mm, I don't know.
Because I got two.
Okay.
I got the Solarians from Orville, who are from a high gravity planet, but their entire populace, their entire species takes pride in intelligence, not in physical strength. So it's hilarious that they are ridiculously strong
Oh,
because they're
true.
from this really high gravity planet,
Right.
but they don't pride strength, they pride intelligence above
Right.
all else. And my other one is, well, it's two kind of. It's two Gene Roddenberry ones. It's
Mm,
Khan from Khan and his people from the original Star Trek, which I know a little bit of, but not a whole lot.
sure.
And in Andromeda, there are specifically humans who are genetically modified for high gravity planets. So they
Interesting.
have increased strength to everything else.
Right.
So I
Right.
love it when there's a lore write off for, hey, this guy's really strong. Why is he really strong? Oh, his mother was a high G person and his father was a regular human, so he's like got half the strength of the high G
Yeah.
kind of planet kind of thing.
Well, and I like the in this. I really like the like horrible experiments that are all throughout this lab that you can tell is like a hybrid of like two or three things, and him just explaining like, what if we had a way where we could make humans not weak? Like we have the perfect organism, why don't we
You want,
smush the two of them together? Surely nothing terrible will happen. And they show the footage of like the mouse or the rat getting smushed and then like coming like
yeah,
reflating and then coming back to life.
it's it's the Firefly movie thing
Mm-hmm.
of what if we could make people better?
Exactly.
It's like, oh, big government and capitalism both doing the same thing. Who would
No,
have thought
no
about it?
problem. Yeah, but I like too that it's an extension of some of the stuff from the first movie of like we have the perfect thing here.
I love the fact that they refer to him as a perfect organism, like
Yeah.
the Xeno, because it is. Like I hate
Yep.
to say it, it is.
Yep.
Like it's insane how perfect that is.
Yeah. So I like a
Thanks,
lot.
David.
That's right. That's right. Thanks, David. So I like a lot of this here of like explaining it, and I'm not gonna remember the guy's name who does the voice for Rook. He does a really good job though. Um, and him like very coldly explaining like, of course I would just do this. Why wouldn't I? I think a lot of that works really well. And I think after that is the
Daniel Betts is who
yes,
did it.
thank you. Um, and then I think after that is them going to the
They
nightmare
go and get
tunnel.
Compound X or whatever it is
Yeah, what
to
is
try
it?
and save. I can't
Z01.
even. It's Xeno 1, of
Z01.
course.
Yep. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Of course.
Yep.
But yeah, this is when they had to get that. They have to go to the Nightmare Nest tunnels,
Uh-huh.
and they get aim assisted pulse rifles,
Uh-huh. These things are cool as hell, man.
which is one of my favorite write offs ever. Where it's like, yeah, they don't have the Marines on board; they have scientists.
Yep.
Scientists are going to need help
That's
if
right.
they ever have to use the guns,
Yep.
and if we have the technology, who cares?
And just like later on seeing the gun like swivel on the
Uh
like
huh.
at on the near the kind of like shoulder stock, really cool. Yeah.
It's a great write off. Where did you learn about it? Oh, books and video games.
That's
Of
right.
course.
That's right.
Of course. Oh, it's so ridiculous. I mean, I like it. It's a really good write-off for the fact that you're going to have pulse rifles in this. So, of course.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, they go and they find the nest. And of course they find a nest.
Of course they
Because
do.
of course there is a nest.
Yeah. And a
And it does the
pretty
same
big one.
thing that any nest in Aliens always does, which is you have them on the walls
Yep.
and you don't see them until they move.
Yep.
Every time it gets me.
Yep.
Every time. Without fail.
Yep. Yeah, just those nightmare tunnels are so great. I love them.
Uh-huh. Yep.
And I think this is where they rescue Kay, right? 'Cause they find her on
I
the
believe,
wall.
yes, they
Yeah.
find her on the wall in the nest. They
She's in
rescue her.
bad shape.
Rough shape.
Yeah.
Rough shape, we'll say. And even Andy says, well, she hasn't been implanted yet, probably because she's bleeding out, essentially.
Wink.
Uh-huh.
Yep. Yeah. So they give her a little bit of the old Z01. The old
Oh, no,
Xeno
no,
shot.
no, no. No, they don't.
Oh,
They
not yet.
don't. Nope.
Yeah.
Because they get her onto the elevator, but Andy falls down and gets all broken again. So Rain sends Kay up the elevator with the compound,
Right.
and she does the old Limpy McLimpy
Mhm.
all the way up to the ship. And I think she's actually in the elevator when she injects herself with the thing.
That's right. Yes, 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 yes.
And that's while Rain is trying to save Andy, but the elevator's at the top. And again, the sequence gets a bit squiggly for me here, but
Yeah.
like she's going back to the ship, and Rain and the boyfriend, the main crush guy, gets zooted into the sky
Yes.
by,
Yep.
or zooted through some tunnels by a xenomorph.
Yep.
He gets the old two-mouth surprise,
That's right.
one might say.
It's a great
So many
Friday
good
night.
t-shirts. The old two-mouth surprise.
That's right. That's what they called me in college. Yep.
I think this is where we get the no gravity alien shoot 'em up acid spiral scene, which is
I love the idea of this. Again, I will forever love the sign for anti-gravity in this, which is just the upside down person starfished out. Compared to the person, it's just like the letter I for the gravity is
Yep.
on. Love it. Love the signs in Alien. Super, super underrated. I I like the tension of Andy calling out the number of rounds that are left. I like the idea of her shooting them
Well,
all. I love the last like
the,
burst goes to the
but the,
face huggers.
yeah, but this is again, it's the nostalgia play. He's
Yes,
calling out the rounds in the gun, just like the turrets from
right.
Aliens.
And
It's
that's what frustrates. That's what frustrates me a
yeah.
lot.
We'll get to it, I'm sure, when we wrap up the movie as
Yeah.
a whole.
But
I mean,
like
it's a decent sequence.
yeah.
Like the spiral, like using the anti-gravity to go through the spiral gaps.
Yep. And like the
On like
floating nightmare blood looks
uh
really cool. Like I do like her like zero G floating through all the stuff, but like something about it that I think it's another this movie continually cements itself as like a little bit too beholden to nostalgia and too beholden to like alien and aliens for me to be like, okay, like it's cool, but it's a little
yeah.
bit derivative.
And like it's a really interesting sequence, like, and the fact that they get back to the elevator, they call the elevator down, and then like they find the gravity alarm comes on because it has to do the spike to purge the systems. Like, well, now we just got to climb. Like, we have to climb. We
Right.
can't wait. We have to just climb. I think the elevator sequence is pretty cool. Like
Yeah, that was
the
pretty
face
good.
hugger, like them climbing up the shaft is great. The surprise alien who is in the gap, who I think this movie, I don't hold me to this, but I think this movie has the same thing that a different movie we haven't seen done, which is it has one identifiable primary antagonist xenomorph.
Oh, sure.
And
Yeah, there's the one
I
that's
think
like always hunting them.
I think that's the same one from the ship is the same one that's in the shaft.
Mm-hmm.
And like it has a great moment with like the facehugger jumping, and then like
Yep.
she uses the gun to go even further and faster, and then Andy saves her, and then says the line because he has to say the line.
Which line is that?
It's when he comes from above with the gravity, lands on the xenomorph, releasing the xenomorph
Oh
from
yeah, like keep your
Rain's
hands off of
grasp.
her. Yeah, when they did that, I was
Right.
like, guys,
I was like, don't say the last bit. Don't say the
that's
last
right.
bit.
Don't.
Get off of her.
Now he said it.
Get off
Okay.
of her is great.
Yep.
And then it pauses because it's regular Andy again at this point. And it's like,
Don't
don't
say it.
say it.
Don't you dare say
Don't
it.
say it.
Don't say it.
Don't say that last line.
And then they
And then they
drop it.
say it.
Yeah. I
If they
do have.
hadn't have said that last line, it would have been a bit more acceptable.
Yeah, but like should go all the way down the well again is just like
I'm
all
sorry.
right.
Last time that line was said in this franchise was because Ripley was in a loading suit.
That's so cool. I do have to say we did forget about the Andy talking about his new directive earlier, where he says, "I'm afraid I have a new directive. Do what's best for the company." I was like, "That's a really great line. That's a good one."
Yep.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
But yeah,
I
they,
do
they
like a lot of the like the gravity anti-gravity stuff. I love Rain reaching for Andy and the gravity turns on and she floats that last inch and then falls back rapidly. Like I that's a really cool
yes.
shot. There's some
And
cool
the fact
stuff
that
in it.
she's saved by that the
Yeah.
Xeno in the shaft
Yeah, him
is
like
cool.
that Xeno like grabbing her and saving her.
Out of thin air.
Yeah, like that's a cool cuz I think a lot of other films might have just impaled her at that point and be like, "Well, deal with
Uh-huh.
that." But that's not. I thought that was kind of a cool little change.
Yeah. And she's more important to the Xenos alive than, a puddle of red at the bottom of
Right,
the elevator shaft.
right.
And yeah, they get back to the ship, they take off, whatever. They're leaving with the fuel and the sleepy thing.
Yep.
And because it's an alien movie,
Mm-hmm.
it's not over yet.
Nope. We have to have another
And
terrible birthing scene.
uh-huh.
This one might
What do you
be
think is worse, this or Prometheus?
Prometheus. Hands down. Prometheus, I think, is way more terrifying from like a violation standpoint of just like seeing it. Sorry, I just got the shivers again thinking about Prometheus of like it like
Well,
just
the difference
under the
there is
skin.
that gets cut out and picked up and taken away.
Whoa, God,
This one is an actual
well,
birth.
she's trapped in there with it. Like, this one is terrifying. It's gross to start off with. Of just like, all right, she's having a baby. My first thought was like, okay, the Xeno shot, the COVID vaccine really like messed her up here. And
Don't say that because you're going to get the wrong people
I'm
in
sorry.
here talking about.
That's right.
We are pro-vaccine.
We are
For anybody
pro-vaccine.
listening,
We are
that
not
was a
Nazis.
joke.
Yes,
Yes.
that was. But like I thought, like because she got the xenomorph shot, that like she's having the baby very rapidly, and like
Uh-huh.
we're gonna take a baby off to Vaga 3, hooray! And then like an egg comes out, and I'm like,
Yep.
okay,
It's like, no,
that's
turns out most of the Xeno shot didn't go to the mother.
uh-huh.
It went elsewhere.
And then like that was bad enough, and she's like, okay, like take it out of here, and Rain just like picks it up and starts booking. I was like, you are way more brave than I would. I'd be like kicking this thing like a football down the hallway of just like get out of here. And then it like cracks open and you see that gray baby inside. I was like, no, what are
In
you
acid
doing?
blood, too, by the way.
What are you doing? No. The logical extreme of holding up the sign in this movie of like, hooray! It's way worse now. And guess what? It's gonna get worse.
Yep.
Yeah, and just the
So,
the rapid growth.
uh-huh.
I just
The tail growing as he feeds on his mother is gross. I don't know if you noticed that, but like as he's feeding on Kay, his tail is like there's a bubble going to his tail, and it's growing
there's such a great shot there where he's like a zombie is chewing on her, and like I think it's really interesting that she's not laying on the ground. He's holding her, and like there's that limp nature of her body in the way of like, no, she's without communicating it, totally dead. And like you're just that's you're just not gonna make it out of this. Um, and then like you also have the footprints in the sand, the sand and the
Yep.
rocks that are getting bigger and weirder as they go. Oh, it's just it's
It's
a lot.
gross. I think it looks cool. This is a tall dude in a suit as well,
Oh my
by
god,
the
this
way.
dude's 7'7".
Uh-huh.
They put him in this big
I
old
think
suit.
I think he's a former NBA player.
Uh huh.
I don't like this design.
It looks a little doofy. In like,
It looks a little doofy, and again, it's the beholden to the franchise thing.
yeah,
Looks like an engineer, and I
right.
hate the fact that it looks like an engineer.
I
Like,
yeah,
why?
I think if it didn't have the face, the like overextended limbs with the tail, I think looks fairly terrifying. There's something about the face. I'm gonna be a little bit cruel. It almost looks like that awkward seal meme where it just sort of like it just looks it doesn't,
Well,
especially when you look at the xenomorph, like the xenomorph you think of when you think of the alien movies with the long head and like we've been talking about the
yeah,
two
the
double
banana
mouth
dome.
surprise, like all of that stuff, especially earlier in the movie when the xenomorph comes out of that very shaped
Oh,
egg thing.
yes,
Um,
the
like
distinctly shaped object on the
right,
wall,
like you
the
see it.
allegory on the wall, as we described.
Yes, yes, thank you. You see the like the long head come out. You see the like the I think they're practical like claw hands unfurling. Like that stuff is still terrifying, and seeing it kind of like melt out of the wall like that is really still affecting. And then you got this like tall, pale engineer dude, and it's like, yeah, he's
So
he's not the final boss.
I think the biggest mistake that movies have always done with the Alien franchise is they've tried to make the alien more human. That's not why the alien's terrifying.
Right.
The alien is terrifying because it's not human,
It
because it's
is
not
an
of
alien.
us.
Right.
Like it's literally the name of the
Right.
franchise.
But
It is not
it's so far
us.
from humans. Not in like a
Yes.
not just in like a behavioral standpoint, but just this thing has metal teeth. It has a little tiny mouth. In its mouth that
Uh-huh.
has metal teeth. Like it's terrifying.
Yeah, I think the issue that the movies have always had is they've always leaned into the horror, or the quote unquote horror of what if human more like alien, or what if alien more
Right.
like human. We saw it in Resurrection, we see it in
Yep.
this movie. I think, but in my opinion, the most successful alien things have always been the thing that three kind of introduced the world to, which is what if alien take after thing, not
Right.
human take after alien. What
Right.
if alien take after thing? Which is why, like in Alien 3, like we watched the cut where it came from. I think it was a dog. It was the dog
Yeah.
alien is
Hmm.
what it was referred to. And like the graphic novels, the comic books, the video games, they have leaned into that hard. And it's like, what if a facehugger jumped on a rhino? Now you got a rhino alien
Isn't that
who is like
weird?
5 times bigger and super duper strong. It's
Right.
the alien you know, except it came from a rhino.
Yeah.
And I think that stuff is so much more interesting than what
Yep.
if human more alien.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know, like go the other way, like flip it.
Yeah.
Like this is what I hope about Alien Earth, the TV show, is give me face huggers on cats. Give me a cat alien.
Right. Right.
Like give me a hamster alien. Give me like
Just get
an
weird with
eagle
it.
alien.
Yeah.
Like go full bonkers with it.
Yeah.
Like go
They can
that
fly
direction.
now. Isn't that terrifying?
Don't go. I'm pretty sure there's a graphic novel where there's certain aliens that have wings because they
Great.
got
That's
a bird,
a
essentially.
nightmare. Jesus.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like this,
But they
I
wrapped this one
think
up with
that,
a really tall dude.
yeah,
Yeah.
a tall, pale dude who looks kind of like an engineer, and I was immediately disappointed.
Yeah.
It's shot well, it's sequenced well. I think the story they tell of her having, again, nostalgia. She's in her underwear about to get into the thing,
Yeah.
but then the ship gets cold, so she has to go and get in a suit because it's gotten cold because she needs to get rid of this thing.
Yep.
Like, I think it's an interesting sequence. I think it's shot well. I don't think the final jump scare is really needed.
No, it
When
looks
she's on
cool.
the chain.
Yeah, like it looks cool disintegrating too. Like I think that
Yes.
effect is really cool.
Yeah, I like it's genuinely great, but the whole time this was happening, I was like, I really hate the design of this thing. Like,
Yeah,
why always the human? Like,
right,
I mean, Prometheus has its problems, but at least they didn't do that in that. They were like, no, this is like a weird octopus squid xenomorph. Like,
right.
this is what you're dealing with in this one.
And why isn't
Um,
it the xenomorph that's been hunting them the whole time and saved Rain earlier? Like, why isn't it that one? Like, why isn't it
'Cause that's the
them?
one that got squished in the elevator with the
I
iconic
know,
line.
and that's just it's a
It
bummer,
should have been this. It should have been the same Xeno from the ship that was still on the ship
right? Yep,
from way back from
and
when
just
the beginning. You
waiting for
didn't
that.
have to do this.
Yeah,
Like, eh,
yeah. It's
it's
a
fine. It's a decent sequence. It looks cool. It
It's
looks.
I'm glad it's practical. I'm glad they got an impossibly tall dude to put in this suit and just make
Uh-huh.
it as because you can use a big person being in a big suit to be unnerving, and I think they did that really well. I just kind of wish it was different. I guess to boil it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the
Yeah.
end.
She gets in the sleepy pods with Andy.
Yep.
Promises to fix Andy. Puts him in the sleepy pod. Gets in one herself.
Yep.
No pets in this movie, which
Yeah. True. True.
is secret hero of alien movies is Jonesy
Right.
the whole time.
Jonesy MVP.
Um, and yeah, she off she goes to Vega One or whatever it is.
Yeah, and then they do, of course, a movie-ending audio log, the last known survivors. It's like,
Oh yes,
please,
they did.
jeez, stop.
Mm.
Yeah,
I mean, they had to do it. They had to do it.
yeah,
It's it, it's the, but it's not even like an audio log for the ship. It's an audio log for the cryo tubes, which
right.
is just like okay.
Yeah,
Isaac Clarke is going to come in here and find this thing. You do know that,
exactly.
right?
It's exactly. I
Can I go first?
yeah, go ahead.
This movie is shot incredibly well. I
Uh huh.
think the director did a great job lighting, practical effects. There's so much about this movie I absolutely adore,
Agreed.
like on so many different levels. This is two-thirds of an incredible movie and then one-third of a what about do you remember when? And the
Yeah,
do you remember when section of this, the entire last third of this movie, just it's taking effort for me to not swear on this recording to tell you how frustrated I was with the whole
yeah, and I
wink, remember when? Wink,
right.
remember when?
You
Because
guys like Alien and Aliens? How about this guy?
it feels like once it started, once you get that Rook reveal, it doesn't stop making the references.
That's what I
From
was gonna
then
say.
on,
Like
it's literally
once they hook him up, it's kind of like a downhill for the rest of the movie of just like they're just checking the checkbox and be like, this guy, we got this guy. You'll love this one. We put that in there too. And it's like,
uh-huh.
it's it's frustrating. I am not like true to the nature of this show. I have not been a fan of Alien for the Alien franchise for a very long time. I've been a fan of the Alien franchise since insert season number
We did
here. Um,
two, I believe. I believe it was
I
two.
think I think it was too. But even for me, as someone who is a relative newcomer here to the Alien films, it's just so frustrating that you had an opportunity with a brand new crew, a brand new director who's famous for doing some
Sorry, it was seven.
seven.
Season 7.
Yeah. Okay. But like you had a director that's known for doing some other horror stuff. Like you had I don't think you necessarily needed to make a clean break, but I think you had an opportunity to kind of toss off some of the cruft that's happened of the previous Alien movies where people are like, okay, these aren't really going in the direction that is great. So like what are we doing here? And their natural reaction is, well, the first two Alien movies were pretty good. Let's do some of that. It's like okay,
Hmm.
sure.
Yeah, but like you said, like they had the chance to throw off the cruft of like Prometheus, Covenant,
Yep.
yeah, but still they made the engineers reference
And
with
like
the final creature.
Prometheus fire at the creation of the like stop. Shut
Uh
up.
huh.
You don't even need to talk about Prometheus. Come on.
No.
Shut up about
Nope.
it. Yeah.
Nope. You
I just
really.
it's it's
It,
it's a it's a
I this is it. It's going to sound harsh when I phrase it this
okay.
way. It's going to sound really harsh,
Okay.
and I don't mean it to be harsh because, like I said, 2/3 of this I think is genuinely great.
Mhm.
Um, this feels like a wasted movie, wasted potential. Like
Yeah. I
you could have gone full horror. You are a horror director.
yeah,
Like you could have gone full body horror with this.
exactly.
You could have made John Carpenter's Thing the Alien movie. You could have done it, and you didn't. Instead, you went to nostalgia plays for the end of it, and it's just like,
Yeah,
why?
it's just I I liked watching this. Like I really
Uh-huh.
did, and like you said, it's a good movie. Like it's really well made. Just my kind of disappointment at the end of it is sort of like, okay, sure, that was fine. And I think like we've been talking about, a lot of my disappointment just is like you could have done something different. You could have done something new, and that would have been great, and you didn't.
Yep.
Yeah. So let's see ratings here real quick. IMDb 7.1 out of 10 with 242,000 ratings. Rotten Tomatoes 80% on the tomato meter, 85% on the popcorn meter, and let me click this link in Letterboxd, and 3.6 out of 5.
So I got two ratings I
Okay.
can give you here. As a movie,
Mm-hmm.
it's like a 7.5 out of 10. It's an eight, 7 and 8 out of
Okay.
10.
I think that's fair.
As an Alien movie, it's a 6 out of 10.
I think that's fair.
Because like, if this, obviously you can't really say it because it's called Alien, but I think if this was a different monster, different franchise, different whatever, it's well made. It's like an 8 out of 10. Like I
Yeah.
said, so much of it is really good. But the problem is it's looped in with the Alien universe, and then
Yeah.
you have the 1/3 of the back end of the back end of the movie,
Right.
all nostalgia plays. And we've
Right.
talked about this before. Like I have a theory on endings.
Mm-hmm.
You make a middle of the road movie with a banger of an ending. All anybody remembers is the banger of an ending.
Yep. Yep.
You make an incredible movie with a terrible ending. All anybody remembers is the terrible ending.
Mm-hmm.
And then your movie or your movie or your product is judged based on the ending,
Always has
because
that
that's the thing that
asterisk.
people remember.
Yeah.
Yes, Mass Effect is a fine example of this.
Right.
Probably one of the greatest franchises ever created. The last one was questionable, so everybody has a bad taste in their mouth
Yep.
because of that.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
if they would have preloaded the nostalgia play at the start,
Uh-huh.
I I think it could have had a different weave, a different ending,
Right.
different creature at the end. Like you
But
said, just have it be that one Xeno.
But I think also what's really interesting is we've now had two movies back to back between Fast 10 and Alien Romulus that are so beholden to its franchise and playing the hits and revisiting your
Uh-huh.
favorite things.
You've no idea how much I was holding my mouth shut while you were talking about Fast 10.
I'm really worried about our next movie. We've two unrelated movies that are so worried about its own history and its own. I'm trying not to use the word franchise, but that feels maybe more appropriate for both of these. Of like beholden to its own franchise, that I'm like looking at our third movie, just being like, okay, are we gonna hit an accidental playing the hits season when we're doing a catch up?
Are we gonna have to rename this season at the end?
Yeah. So, all right. Any closing thoughts here for Alien Romulus?
Oh, let's just say I had long conversations with a friend of the show, Mackie, about this movie.
Understandably.
Literally, as I walked out the theater, I'm pretty sure I texted Mackie and was like, "Hey, have you seen this movie?"
Hey, bro, you up?
Uh, pretty much yes, because I'm pretty sure I saw it like late night on like a Friday,
Right.
and I was just like, "Bro, I need someone to talk to about this because the person who I went to see it with is not invested the way I am invested.
Right, right.
They don't have a xenomorph shelf
That's right.
sitting behind them
That's
when
right.
they're recording a podcast, for
One might
example."
say. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for listening to this episode. Greatly appreciate it. As we said, we have one more movie in this catch-up season that now I am very terrified about now that we're going to go watch it. Well, hope we'll see you there. Bye.
Bye.